Hey everyone, and welcome to Nomifactory. But wait, haven't we played Omnifactory? That's right, this is Season 2, and it's basically the same pack rebranded as Nomifactory. Either way, it's still my favourite pack, and I've been wanting to replay this ever since the first run, around this time last year. So what's different this time around? You can see in the bottom right corner of the screen the world timer. This isn't on a server, so no offline processing, same as last time. But I want to see how quickly we can beat this pack. It's not going to be a 1-to-1 since there have been some pack changes, and this time we are playing peaceful rather than hard mode, but hopefully this time we can get a quicker time than last. It took us 471 hours for creative vending the first time round, which I think is a pretty respectful time for a first run. But this time we're going to try to optimise things, and with all the knowledge and experience we have in GregTech New Horizons and also in FTB interactions, I think this time round we can have some fun. No doubt there will be some blunders, but that's part of the fun as well. Because of the quicker pace, this isn't going to be a pack for base building, we're going to be purely functional in this. But remember, sometimes you have to be inefficient to be efficient. So here we are on our little spawn island. Quite an interesting spawn we have here. So as for the general strategy for the early game, I want to basically just loot as much of the lost cities as we can, and then we're going to be moving to the void. Wow, an empty chest, really? But yeah, the void dimension is just way more efficient, even though we're doing it in GregTech New Horizons as well. This is a very different GregTech experience, as most of you will probably know by now. But yeah, the void dimension just basically makes it so that we don't have to worry about space. We have unlimited space, of course, in the void. And we can avoid some lag through there as well. With the amount of machines we're going to be having, that's definitely a consideration you have to make when you're playing this game. Another empty chest, come on. Come on, we're supposed to get some good loot here. The fact that we have quite big clay buildings is going to be important. We can use this clay later on. And I'm also going to grab some of this quartz with the hammers that we got from the quest book. Similar to New Horizons and interactions, we also have our GregTech ore veins here. The salt veins is not something we need immediately, so we'll come back for this later on. A coal vein is definitely something that we can use early game though. I'm going to grab some of this while we're here. And we'll also mark it on the map. We don't have visual prospecting in this. Oh nice, a huge quartz vein here. This is going to be useful as well. And is this a magnetite right above it? Wow, that's hard to see. I can't see anything here. Yeah, it looks like we have two intersecting ore veins. That's nice, we definitely need some iron and gold. So we are just over the hour mark right now. I've been collecting some materials, I've been mining for various resources. We got some tin veins, I found some other lapis and other goodies underground. Still no diamond though, we'll need a diamond vein soon enough. But with the help of effortless building, which is an amazing mod by the way, I have created a bit of a platform here in the void for us to start our base with. And we are going to start moving all of our items across here. I think this is going to take multiple trips. This is why I want to do this early on, so that we can easily move things. And I have also been making use of the home commands from FTB utilities. I have a few set up on various ore veins as well, which will really help to reduce travel times between different areas. I've definitely missed the home command from GTNH since I didn't use it there at all. Alright, so we got everything moved over from the overworld. We got some furnaces placed and some storage crates for storage. I think before tackling any of these quests, I'm going to go on a very extended mining trip. I would really like to find a diamond vein, and we're going to need a lot more iron than we currently have. It's going to make some of the early wire and plate recipes much easier since we get very poor ratios, at least until we have our basic LV machines. Oh, there you are. We finally have sheep. I've been searching for these guys. And we needed the wool to make a sound muffler to allow us to mute the sound of the piston contraction. And so we have our very basic sugarcane farm that we had set up last time actually. In fact, this is probably overkill at this point since we don't have a void upgrade for this drawer. But the good thing about the sugarcane earlier on is we can use it in our furnaces and we no longer have to rely on charcoal. So we already have an infinite fuel source, which means we can smelt all of the materials we've been gathering. To get this set up, you need a redstone conduit connected to SNAD. Basically, if you give this a redstone signal, then it will increase the growth of the sugarcane. And you'll also want the redstone sensor filter in there, inputting and outputting a strong red signal. And to trigger the pistons, we have an observer on the third block of the sugarcane. Connected to the observer is another redstone conduit, which powers the block, and that will power the piston. But yeah, this isn't a perfect system since I think we do need a vacuum hopper for this. Some sort of ranged item collection to stop all of the items dropping on the SNAD. I don't think there's much we can do about it at this point in the game. But with a decent material backlog and a fuel source secured, I think it's time that we start moving into some of these quests. So as you noticed, I already upgraded our furnaces to iron, which just increases the smelt time. Or no, decreases the smelt time. And you can also notice we're getting omni nickels, which we can use for various ores. I think there's crafting recipes. I don't think we turn them in like GTNH in the quest book. Yeah, all of these have various crafting recipes. We can get some ores from this, which I think we'll be making use of. So I have already went ahead and made all of the wrought iron tools that the quest recommends that we make. Next quest is just a material collection quest, and this is where our crafting stations come in handy. Since we can set the recipe and then lock it in here, and that way we can just shift click everything. So we need to make some conductive iron, I believe. We'll make a full stack. I think all of this will have to smelt. We also need quite a bit of red alloy, which was required for the conduits actually, so there should be some in here already. Oh, and you know what? There's a quest for the satchel here, which does require some leather. I've got our base chunk loaded already using FTB chunk loading. Generally, it's going to be a good idea for us to multitask like this, so if we can find those cows again, I probably should have just grabbed the leather the first time I saw them. It's your unlucky day, guys, sorry. They better drop leather. Okay, they did. Seems that there was a bit of an incident here with the wolves. I guess they weren't really too happy with their neighbours here, which is fine, we need the wool. Alright, we got the leather for 2 satchels, and the quest. I think the conductive iron should have smelted by now, at least most of it. There's also the next quest for all of the wire recipes. Oh, and we're already into circuit components, huh? That was fast, yeah. So we'll need paper, which we are getting from sugarcane. In fact, I think we'll make a crafting station recipe for this. We'll also need some copper wire, which has to be made from plates first of all. So it's 2 ingots to 1 plate at the moment, and then 1 plate to 1 wire, which is a laughable ratio right now, but it's all we can work with. And also for the resistor, we need some coal dust. I have been trying to save the coal. I just used it in the beginning for the furnaces, but we obviously no longer need to do that. And for the dust, we have to use a mortar. All very manual at this stage. It's a good idea generally to use full stacks of this stuff. And again, we'll make crafting station recipes for these resistors. There's the first stack of these things. Alright, what's next? Some vacuum tubes. We'll need some glass, which I do believe we have smelted. But let's get some more of that going. We picked up a lot of sand for the SNAD. I honestly can't believe how cheap these things are compared to GTNH. I'm going to be making that comparison a lot, but everything here is just a lot cheaper, right? Alright, there's the first 16 vacuum tubes. And the coated circuit boards is just some wood slabs, along with some rubber, which we can very, very easily farm with these rubber trees. There's something so satisfying about this. Yeah, rubber trees are probably the most efficient thing to farm for us at the moment, since we can get rubber wood, which converts into 4 planks. We can use the saplings for various biomaterials later in the game, and we also get this rubber, which we can use to make the coated circuit boards. Oh, I thought that would have unlocked the last one in the chapter, but it looks like we still need the energy conduit. Alright, so let's see about making our first power source, which is going to come from steam dynamos. First of all, we're going to need some pressurized fluid conduits. We're not going to go too crazy with these things, since I'm not sure if they upgrade directly. Oh, it looks like they do, okay. And to make the dynamos, we need a lot of materials. Let's see, some silver rods. Do we have any silver? I'm not sure if we have any silver, do we? I don't recall getting any silver anywhere. Nope, we do not have any silver. However, we can buy it with our Omni coins, which I think is going to be our first use for these things. Might as well go for the full stack. And after quite a bit of microcrafting, I believe we can make our 3 steam dynamos here. Alright, so now we're going to need to set these things up, and I believe there is some sort of augments that we can get out of these things. Since technically we can just fill these with sugar canes and water, I believe, which will get them running. Although yeah, this is the quest I'm after right here. We can get the fuel catalyzers, which will increase their efficiency, and I think there is also a boiler conversion. If I remember correctly, yeah, this thing right here I'm not sure we can make this yet since we need fused quartz. I think we may need we need an alloy smelter for this. Okay. So I blitzed ahead through some of the quests, made up some cable and rubber sheets, which was part of the biomaterials we can use from rubber trees. And the cables we have to make as part of our very first circuit, the primitive circuit. Although we are basically out of iron and redstone, it's not going to be enough to carry us through the next portion of these quests. So I think it's time for our second mining trip. However, before we go, I remember we have this smelt and enchanted book. Is this just auto smelt? Just named differently since it's from a different mod, I guess? Oh, it is auto smelt. Oh, yes. I mean, we don't get the machine byproducts, but we don't have any machines right now, so this is perfect for us. That was actually a very, very lucky find. If only we could pair this with Fortune. Can you imagine we got a Fortune book as well? I also don't remember the ore veins being this dense either. It's certainly not this way in GTNH, that's for sure. Look at this, so much copper around here. Alright, so I went mining again and instantly used most of the resources I just picked up to make our first, I think this is going to be 24 primitive circuits. Awesome. And we are almost through the first chapter. We unlock the drawer controller, it looks like. We need a block of diamond. Yeah, all the more reason we need our diamond vein, which I still haven't found, by the way. But the next step is to make our CEF, which can convert the RF that we're going to be producing out of these boilers, or the steam dynamos. And that will convert RF into EU. I think the process is lossless, but of course we do RF to EU in a 4:1 ratio. But the recipe for this thing doesn't really seem too bad, actually. Let's see, how do we make the machine hull? Just some wrought iron, some tin cable. Oh, and wrought iron plates for the machine casing. Ah, we got our first CEF, which we're going to place right here. And we're going to connect up some 4x conductive iron cable, which I think is our only option right now. Yeah, I mean, it's the lossless one. It's cheap enough, so I think we're going to stick with conductive iron. Next quest is just a warning on power. I know all about that from GTNH. Although power does work slightly differently here. We have a bit more leeway. It's a bit more forgiving in this, basically. There's no machine explosions, although you can still burn up cables. And machines will still vaporize, so to say. But yeah, I believe we have now unlocked the beginning. This is where we can get our first machines, probably starting with the wire mill. Yeah, I'm thinking wire mill and alloy smelter is probably going to be our first go-to. And as per the quest, I think we're also going to pick up some flux capacitors so that we can have a decent power backlog in here. Since I don't think we have enough pulsating iron to automatically send the sugarcane from the drawer into these steam dynamos yet. These we still have to feed manually, so it's going to be nice to have a little bit of a power buffer on these. The other option I believe is to do the GT batteries, but I don't think these can hold quite as much as the flux capacitors can. And as far as I know, both of them work in the CEF. Oh, look at this, our first LV machine, the wire mill. No more inefficient wire recipes. Yeah, we're going to do the same sort of thing we did last time, and we'll place some storage crates below and above this. I think probably I'll have to go one block above this, since we'll have to have hoppers in there. Or I guess we could do robot arms or conveyors, but I mean, we can't afford that quite yet. If we wrench this to the bottom, all the wires should be sent into the storage crate, and this means we can batch craft. Yeah, next machine is going to be the alloy smelter. You know what, it took long enough. I don't remember it taking this long the first time. Maybe I'm less efficient. Maybe I've lost my way a little bit. Who knows? There's the alloy smelter though. But yeah, I'm reluctant to call this a speedrun. It's not a speedrun. We're just trying to have some fun and trying to beat our time last time. But I mean, I think we can make it up later in the game, right? Yes, so what is going to be our next plan of action? Do we want the blast furnace yet? I don't think we can support that at the moment. I think probably we want to go for some of these other LV machines. Yeah, making things like the compressor means we get cheaper recipes, and that will allow us to build out our infrastructure a bit cheaper and a bit more efficiently. So yeah, I think we're going to go over here and pick up the compressor, macerator, and fluid extractor if we can. You know what, actually, before we do that, we can actually use our new alloy smelter here to make fused quartz. And that should allow us to get this boiler conversion upgrade. And as long as the ratios haven't changed, I think one boiler... Oh, wait a second. Yeah, I guess it only has space for one right now before it upgrades. But one boiler can support 2 of these steam dynamos. So effectively what we've just done there is convert this from making RF into making steam. Yeah, and the other dynamos will have to convert to turbines. Oh, I guess there was a quest for it. Yeah, so this now means that this one will output steam into these two. and these will consume the steam to produce RF. So it basically means that we only have to provide this one with the fuel now. Yeah, and it seems that we can keep up with 2 of these steam dynamos with just the 1 boiler. I think we'll want to look into item conduits, which are up here somewhere. This does require our alloy smelter, which we now have, but I think before that we're going to pick up these machines. And I did put in the flux capacitors here, which can hold 10 million RF each, which is an absolutely insane buffer, considering how cheap these things are. But yeah, the compressor I think is what we're going to invest in next. We are going to have to make up some steel, which we can do using charcoal and wrought iron. And we'll use charcoal rather than regular coal, since we use regular coal in the circuits. And we need steel for this electric piston recipe. We'll use the steel recipe rather than the wrought iron, since it saves a couple of ingots of iron, and I'm kinda running low on iron again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go mining really soon. There's the quest for steel. Alright, this should be our first 2 pistons. And we're just missing some iron plates. Don't tell me we were short. No, we have some spare. There's the quest for pistons. And the compressor, which can allow us to make 1-to-1 plates, I believe. Ah, plates are definitely the most expensive part in this. I think we don't need this crafting station anymore. And yeah, the plates are different to GTNH, right? We don't make plates in the compressor there. And there's also some other recipe differences, like the fact that we have a cluster mill, I think it is here. Yeah, this is how we make our foil in here, rather than going through the bending machine, which actually doesn't exist here. Yeah, the bending machine is how we make plates, right? There's a few quirks of Community Edition which I'm still not used to yet. Oh, look at what we just stumbled across here. So I've been mining a little bit and decided to go out and look for diamonds, since, you know, we need them to be able to repair this mining hammer, and we definitely don't want to lose this thing. Oh, this is juicy. It doesn't look very large though, is the only problem. But we'll take what we can get at this stage. Now this, I do remember, was a very big bottleneck for us the first time round. You know what, since we're here, I'm just going to mine the whole vein, I think. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that large. Yeah, being able to repair this tool is absolutely huge for us, and we'll put a diamond ore on our ore wall. We can set the scanner module to diamond, and this way we can detect even more diamond ore, so it's going to be easy to find it the second time round. Alright, so I went ahead and picked up a few more LV machines for us, including the macerator, the lathe, and the polarizer. The macerator obviously allowing us to create dusts. The lathe we can get rods at a 1-to-2 ratio rather than the 1-to-1 in the crafting table. And the polarizer we can electromagnetically charge, mostly rods we'll be doing with this. Otherwise it costs us 4 pieces of redstone in the crafting table, so it's much more efficient to do it through this thing. But yeah, we're building up a nice array of machines, and I've already started batch crafting a whole lot of wires here. Bunch of bronze, some steel. Yeah, some rods, we're going to need all of this stuff, although maybe I used a little bit too much copper. I think we're left with not enough copper ingots. Oh, there's some in here actually. But yeah, I think to finish off this episode, I would like to get into the item conduits. So I did unlock these quests here for pulsating dust, which for the time being we can only get from uraninite. And uraninite we can actually find in the Lost Cities dimension. We can find this just as ore. Although I wasn't able to find an ore vein yet, so I did just buy it with the omninicles. Yeah, in fact we got some more here. Once we smelt this twice, yeah, we smelt the uraninite twice and we get pulsating dust. And then we can alloy smelt iron ingots and pulsating dust, and this will give us pulsating iron. And we can wire mill this up. And finally we have access to one of the best items in the game, the item conduits. And our quest. And in fact, this allows us to hook up our fuel supply here. I'm going to just grab straight from the front face of the drawer. This is just a temporary setup for now. We're not going to be using these steam dynamos for very long. But yeah, this means that we don't have to manually feed this storage crate anymore. And I think I will actually replace the hoppers on top of here. And we'll use some item conduits instead for this. Oh, it's so nice going back to 112 item conduits. Although the settings are slightly different here. I think it's left click for always active, where in GTNH it's right click for always active. That's going to take a while to get used to. Anyways, I think with that, we're off to a very familiar start here. Nothing too exciting in this first episode, but yeah, we got the groundwork laid for what we're going to be doing next. Hopefully next episode, in fact, I know next episode we'll be getting our blast furnace, and hopefully starting some DML. DML I'm really looking forward to, that'll be a lot of fun, I think. So yeah, we're going to leave this here. I think I'm going to keep these episodes nice and short, nice and condensed. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all soon for some more Nomifactory.